Okay, so this is going to be a quick, I don't know, 5-10 minute update. Kudos to JimPAnimation. He commented on this particular scene. He said, when the guy's foot slips, the next cut, I think his shoulder needs to dip real quick to reinforce that it was his foot that slipped and give more physics to the scene. And I replied that I would take a look at that tomorrow, which is, of course, today. So, what did we do? Well, I had to work out the timing on this scene, so there's actually several things that were done. So let's just go through them one by one. First of all, I wanted to really reinforce the pause there before his foot slips. So it kind of, you can sort of feel the snap of it. One could argue that the picture of the wall should change one frame earlier there. So let's do that. Let's grab this right here, and I just hit the Q key to switch that to picture number 2. So now, boop. Cool. All right, so now to address JimPAnimation's idea, I think it was a good idea. I decided to try it, and what I did was I went ahead and added some plastic tool to this character. All right, and if you put it in animation mode, you can see there's a lot of nodes, and the reason for that is so that I can move certain nodes, and I better save all right now so that if I change anything, it's not going to be, it's not going to actually bake in the changes. So in animate mode, by putting those extra bones in there, it just gives you a little more control over the things you want to deform versus like this area over here maybe that I don't want to deform when I'm moving these bones. And the way I do that typically is just by putting in a lot of extra bones to just sort of control the deformation a little better. So what I did was I used the plastic tool to have him just kind of scrunch in, and it took a while actually to figure out the timing of this. I've got the initial this thing happening on 2s. You know, there's only 2 frames and then 4 frames to recover from it. That seemed to be really what felt about right. So, and then what I also did was I went into Ninja 2 and I just went right here and I hit the D key to create a duplicate of this drawing, and then I went in and manually changed the drawing to add this squunched expression on his face. Okay, and so that sort of works together with the timing of it. So now we zoom out a bit. Actually, let's just go to this room, and you see the whole thing play back. Okay, yeah, so there was one more change and I'll show you right here. I gave a little bit more of a pause before the rock actually appears and is falling. And then I don't know if it's definitively the best idea, but I like the way his eyes slowly go like this. I find that a little more humorous than maybe a quicker movement. So probably the interpolation of that should be on 2s, not 1s. It looks to me like it's on 1s. Okay, and then there's kind of a brief pause after the rock hits the ground, and then back to his eyes. Then he looks back up at Ninja number 1. Okay, so we'll fix this one thing with the plastic tool, interpolation on his eyes, which should be right here. Yes, between here and here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click that so that it opens up a schematic, or I'm sorry, function editor. Function editor, and I want to go to the column called pupils, which because of all those nodes, all those bone nodes in the plastic tool for the Ninja, that's why we have so many columns in this function editor. But basically, here's what I wanted to do. I want to make that turn of the pupils to be on 2s instead of 1s. Now, I can see right here. Let me see if I start here Yes, okay. So you can see if you look in the function editor, from one frame to another, the numbers are different. That tells you that, yes, in fact, this is being interpolated on ones, which is not what we want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this range right here between the two keyframes, and I'm going to turn the step to 2 and hit apply. And now you'll see that every 2 frames are the same now. So that means that that was reinterpolated on 2s instead of 1s. So it's pretty easy to go in and change it, although it's a bit of a pain that you have to. Same thing here. And so now it's not going to look too much different, but you watch his eyes now. You see they're a little bit more jittery, a little bit more, shall we say, anime. I don't know if maybe they shouldn't even move faster, but for the moment I'm going to keep that as it is. So now I need to render this, but the previous version of it is in Blender in the editor, so this will allow us to see how it actually looks cut together. Okay, so if we go back to the beginning, what we've got is got to do some soundtrack in here, actually under the whole thing. Okay, and so now the next shot needs a push, needs a camera push, and then this shot is too blue, needs a little color correction. That should not take too long to fix at all. And now we got our ninjas showing back up. These guys have a few more tweens in there, like that segment has some tweens to make it just a little bit smoother. And here we go with the new shot that we just baked in. Boom. There. So that basically brings us up to date, and let me hit Control down arrow. And the editing in Blender seems to be going pretty well. The one caveat being that every once in a while you're editing, maybe cutting a clip into pieces, you know, to split it apart or whatever. I haven't been able to figure out what causes it, but there are certain operations that you can do, believe it or not, in the Blender video editor that will cause Blender to just poof, just disappear. Complete gone. There's no message, no error, you know, no indication there's some sort of error, nothing. It literally just disappears. Just dies. So not super tragic. It just suggests to me that what we want to do is make sure we save our work frequently. So okie dokie. Going forward, there's a lot that's going to have to be tweaked. These scenes they've got the wrong backgrounds, they've got the wrong floors. Frankly, there's some stuff about this particular sequence that I think are a little bit chimpy and badly in need of improvement. So, I'm in the process of taking what I've been learning over the last few months and bringing it to bear on the stuff that I did a couple months ago in order to, you know, bring the level up a little bit. So, anyway, that's it, and I'm sure I will be back soon.